This is Matthew Tallarini from World Baseball Network here at the Italian American Baseball Foundation Gala in Bronx, New York. Right beside me is South Carolina Gamecocks head coach Paul Mainieri being honored tonight. Paul, how does it feel to be here tonight in Bronx Neck?
Well, Matty, it's great to be here, first of all. But it feels so weird to hear me introduced as the South Carolina baseball coach.
Yeah.
Haven't coached a game there yet, but came out of retirement after 15 years at LSU. But it's wonderful to be up here in the city. My wife Karen and I came up a few days ago, and we've got to enjoy some of the sights. But just to be here with the Italian American Baseball Foundation and to be honored tonight is a real thrill in my life.
Yeah, and it's great to reconnect from the last few months of the American Italian Culture Center, where you were honored not too long ago, and for the Louisiana Italian American Sports Hall of Fame Gala. And what's it like to see where the game is growing now with the international landscape of certain guys? I mean, Julio Rodriguez, Ronald Acuna. How do you just feel about where the game is growing globally?
It's really amazing, and in a sense, I'm a little sad because, my father, who was so actively involved in international baseball during his career, he's passed now. He passed away 5 years ago at the age of 90. But I think if he were alive today and he could see the growth of the game, how excited he would be about it. He gave so much to the game when he was alive at Miami-Dade Community College, coached players like Mike Piazza and many other future big leaguers. But he always was so interested in seeing the game grow globally. And he went to Italy so many times. He did clinics, and then he coached various teams during the summers. And so he's kind of passed the torch to me, and now my interest is to see the game grow so much globally. And I think we're well on our way to see how many different countries are involved in playing baseball that love baseball like we do here in the United States.
What's it like to see what NIL is coming up right now in college baseball? I mean, the Garnett Trust that, South Carolina's big involved in, and other access that other universities and institutions can get a hold on that. Were you to see what NIL's up to nowadays?
Well, it's a different game. There's no question about it. All of college athletics, not just exclusively baseball. But, when I retired 3 years ago, Maddie, I retired for health reasons, but I've been starting to feel better. But so many of my friends that were still coaching had told me it was good that I had gotten out of the game because of all the new rules with the transfer portal and the NIL. And they would tell me, that players are more entitled now and they're not loyal and so forth. And the more I heard it, the less I was happy to be retired. I wanted to get back into the game because I really didn't believe what my friends were telling me. And I have found that the players at South Carolina are very loyal and aren't entitled, and they just want to be coached. And, I really believe that any kid that's worth his salt wants discipline and just wants to know somebody cares about them. So I'm back into coaching with kind of an old school style, but I think it's still going to work. I think these kids still want good coaching and want to know people care about them. And so, the NIL is part of it and the transfer portal is all part of it, but I think we're going to learn to manage it just fine.
Texas, Oklahoma, first year in the SEC. Yeah. What's just the big thought of just coming out of the fall season? One last question here.
Isn't that amazing? 16 teams now in the SEC. We just added Texas and Oklahoma, and it looks like Texas may win the football championship their first year. And our opening series in the spring is with Oklahoma, which will be their first series in the SEC in baseball. So I'm excited about it. The league can't get any tougher. I mean, every weekend was like, I call the SEC the major leagues of college baseball. That's where all the best players are, the biggest crowds, the best stadiums, and everybody's filled with SEC caliber ball players. So you're going to be facing a great team every weekend, just like major league teams are facing other major league teams with major league caliber players. So it's going to be interesting and a lot of fun, and I'm glad to be back in it.
I can't finish this segment without asking, what about Paul Skeens? I mean, all-star after getting drafted as the first overall selection, blossoming through Major League Baseball. What's it like to see a guy like him?
Well, first of all, he finished his career at LSU. I had already retired as the coach, but so much of his development, his credit has to go to the United States Air Force Academy, where he spent his first 2 years playing for Coach Mike Kozlowski, who was one of my former players. But obviously, Paul just continued to grow and to build as a player. When I would sit in the stands and watch him pitch during his 1 year at LSU, I would walk away from the stadium and I would tell people that asked me, this is the best pitcher I've seen in my lifetime in college baseball. And they thought I was exaggerating. I think what he's proven now is I wasn't exaggerating at all. I think he's got a really bright future. He's great right now, obviously. He's a wonderful human being from everything everybody's told me about him. I don't know him personally that well, just to say hello to him a few times. But, Mike Kozlowski tells me he's just a wonderful human being, very humble, and people like that are just destined to be successful.
Paul, thank you so much again for once
pleasure,
again.
Matty.
Much appreciated. My name is Matt Tallarini from World Baseball Network here with South Carolina Gamecocks head coach Paul Mainieri.